up in the sky. I can put you in. Welcome back to another episode of They Gon' Feel Me, episode 31, where you are going to get authentic conversation from authentic men. I am your host today, Chris, aka Untamed Snatch. I got my boy Al C over here. I got my boy Rob down there. I got my boy Reese over there, and we finna get into another great episode. But before we do, hold on. Let me dab the sweat off like I'm a preacher. Before we get into it, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you can be notified when we upload every Tuesday. And stop playing with me. Let's get into this fucking episode, cuz. So we starting off with the pigskin face herself, aka Blac Chyna. You feel me? So y'all know what's been going on. If you don't know, if you've been under a rock, she's been in court with Rob Kardashian. There's been a lot of things that's come out about her. I ain't never liked her in the beginning, so I definitely, since she got that other plastic surgery, her face looked like the bottom of my Air Force One that I did in 2009. So what y'all boys think about what's going on with the situation?
Man, to be honest with you, man, I'm still recovering from the Sony Air Force One. But it's a crazy situation, bro. To be honest with you, I got a low tolerance for BS, and I got low tolerance for people trying to make a come up off of the backs of other people without putting in any kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody know Rob Kardashian. The Kardashian name has money tied to it. And outside of Blac Chyna getting fame as a dancer and being with Tiger is when we first heard about her. I mean, what is she really done? So, I mean, what's
sucked a whole lot of dicks?
I don't know, man. In that video, she didn't really do a good job of it. So,
oh man, but
Kim Kardashian video looked better than that one.
but we always
sucked a whole lot of dicks and overcharged for her OnlyFans. That's what she's done. That's the most significant thing in her life.
The empowerment, the empowerment of women and things of that nature. About the same token, you want women. You want women to get out there and grind and do their thing and make an honest living, not trying to cling on to somebody and get them make a come up off of somebody. So this whole situation is ugly. It's ugly. It's toxic. It's whatever other kind of things that you want to kind of do, put adjectives that you want to put on it. And so I just think it's setting a bad example for other women that's possibly looking up to it. That's how I feel about it.
If anybody's looking up to it, that's crazy.
You got folks that
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be very surprised.
I just think it's wild. Isn't she the one that tried to basically clown her baby daddies or talk down on them because she had to get rid of her cars or something like that to pay for her children?
That was one of the most recent things.
Yeah. And it's just like now it come out that that was just a luxury. And then Rob Kardashian and Tiger came out and said they take care of their kids, and have custody of their kids more than she does. So it's just wild to me.
How much time she gets to handle dicks?
It's just wild to me that she can come out and say all these things that are very far from the truth and get away with it. And then it comes out that Rob Kardashian is being abused by her. She held a gun to the man's head. And I'm just wondering, like, what's going to happen? What's going to come of all this? Is she still going to get paid? Is she going to face, some criminal charges? That's my biggest thing. Like Rob said, we're always for women's empowerment, but sometimes we need to hold women accountable too for their actions. And I believe we talked about this subject about abusing men being abused. It's not often talked about. It's often overlooked. It's often laughed at.
You got Johnny Depp going through it right now.
Johnny Depp's going through one of those situations.
You remember, we talked about Dwayne Haskins, months ago when it happened to him. Like I said, God rest his soul.
And him and his wife or girlfriend or wife was into it, which is very sad that the man lost his life walking to get gas. But back onto this subject, it's just, I mean, if young women are looking up to this, and it is a lot of women that value this lifestyle that Blac Chyna leads and other women in the industry lead, and it's setting a bad example, for a lot of young women to want to follow down this path. I think that we have so many good examples. Look at the Supreme Court, Justice Ketanji, Brown. So it's a lot of good examples. Let's highlight the good examples. I'm sick of these media sources like the Shade Room talking about women like this, and I just want to see some good examples of both Black women and black men, and that's my biggest takeaway from this.
The Shade Room be trash as shit, because the Shade Room would be like, oh, this just out. She basically had a gun to the nigga head and was choking him out on camera. And she, they talked about that in the trial, these things that she did. Then the next week, something like the Shade Room would be like, okay, all right, Blac Chyna out with the clappers just because she wearing some Fashion Nova fit, like for everybody to ogle her over. It's like, fuck this broad, G. Like, she trash. Like, this has been a wild ass week just in general for like shit that's coming out in trials. Y'all just like somebody just mentioned, was Johnny Depp going through, like he having to admit his ex shitting on his goddamn sheets and trying to blame the dog. And meanwhile, like, bro, like this is crazy. Like I promise, Blac Chyna, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp's wife, the baby, and Ezra Miller, they are like just the Justice League of toxicity right now. Like just like y'all are just out here wreaking havoc on the world right now. Y'all are trash. Like but of course we focusing on Blac Chyna, but still, it's just crazy how somebody can abuse somebody in a relationship and then just get away with it, and then people want to skirt the topic. Just because I guess as a man. Honestly, Rob Kardashian always struck me as being kind of special needs, or he got like self-esteem issues or something. Like which makes it even sadder.
Bro, I always used to wonder, like, why the fuck was they together anyway? It was like two people that didn't fit. So you knew something. I always felt like it was something up with that, and I knew. I already knew
his dick. That's what was up. Like,
I mean, it could have been. It could have been that too. But I mean, it was definitely the money.
Shit, and it was like somebody throwing pussy his way that he couldn't get natural.
Because she was with Tyga, and then Tyga ended up leaving her to be with one of the Jenners or some shit like that, wasn't it? And then that's when she got with Rob Kardashian out of nowhere. So I don't know. That whole situation is just fucking stupid.
I'm being really crass, but it always seemed as if like she just basically wowed him with her attributes. You know what I'm saying? And
but real talk though, man. Highlighting that whole male domestic abuse situation, is real. And it's underreported because us in a male dominated society, you look upon a male, if he's getting abused, you look at him, it's a certain way that you look at him, like, oh man, you weak. You know what I'm saying? You getting abused, and it's you look down upon, you're made fun of, but you realize and you understand the situation or the reality that, hey, if I respond, if I lay hands on her, it's how this whole situation is going. So I say that to say this, like, men in general, if you're watching this show, we always advocate leave toxic relationships. Leave. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is doing something, whether it's physical abuse, whether it's mental abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, leave that situation. Leave toxicity behind. Somebody putting their hands on you, whether male or female, damn sure they putting a gun on you. You need to leave. Right. You need to leave that situation.
That ain't no.
And just because
I think the deeper thing about this though is a lot of people don't realize the toxicity in their relationships. A lot of people thrive off of that type of energy.
Which is
A
just
lot of
fucking weird.
people think that that's love, because of, and it all boils down to how they were raised in their environments. If that's all they saw when they were growing up, then they think that that's normal. And if they don't have that in their relationship, and it's not any toxicity, it's boring. It's not, if a guy ain't, calling me out of my name or choking me, or vice versa. If a woman ain't cussing me out and threatening to do this to me, then it's not love. So,
But
I
you
just
gotta
people need to heal, man. Like,
I I think you also got to think about like the atmosphere that a person like this Kardashian dude like finds himself in. He's in a social media soaked household and lifestyle, with his families and friends, and it's kind of like you got a person like Blac Chyna. I think a lot. Never mind people not. I mean, on top of people not recognizing toxicity, it's like always one in the it girl, one in the girl who looks good from a social media standpoint, because I mean, if you want somebody with a build-a-bear body like her, there's a lot of those type of women out there. They're real flashy, they're real interesting, and then like they stroke your ego among other things. And like, and then like people just kind of flock to these women. You need to realize that you need somebody with a whole lot more substance. That's not to say that these women can't have substance, but she don't. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a person you want to carry on your legacy, your genes, your name, your children. This is a person you want to be attached to for the majority of for the rest of your life. Like on any level. It's like stop going for a girl just because, or a partner just because they look good, and cheap fashion over outfits and expensive ass things that were bought with somebody else's money. Like that's what I would say.
Well, good talk, fellas. Good talk. Good talk. Let's get into the next topic. We talk about my boy Big Brr. Fuck y'all talking about my boy Pooh Shiesty. Now he was definitely faced in life with the dumbass decision he chose to make, but my boy only got 5 years for what he did. I say my boy like I went to school with him. I ain't go to school with that dude, but all I know is his music is rocking. So y'all let me know what y'all feel about him getting just 5 years, what it's gonna do for his legacy while he's locked up, and how y'all think he gonna respond when he come out.
Probably like
Shiesty,
bounce
that's my
back just like
dog. But Pooh, I'm really shiesty. I'm really shocked that man only got 5 years. The camera footage clearly shows that he was there. He committed the crime. I believe that he pleaded guilty to the crime to get a lesser sentence from what I was reading. So I think when he gets out of jail, hopefully he learns his lesson, man. Hopefully he gets away from the streets and tries to be a better individual. Do I think that's gonna happen? Probably not. Yeah, I was watching a video the other day about Gucci Mane's whole what is it, new
New
1017 or something
1017.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
all of his artists are going through the same thing. All of his artists are in prison or facing jail time, and it's just like it's wild. Like birds of a feather do flock together, man. And I just feel like these young rappers, like we said the baby always in trouble. He just punched one of his own artists. Like that's crazy, bro. Like what is wrong with you, man? Like you he definitely got some anger issues. And some of these guys, they just want to prove that they tough. They want to prove to the streets that they live with they rap. And it's not a good look at the end of the day, when you gotta go away for 5 years and you missing out on money. So I mean, I just hope he figure it out while he behind bars. Maybe mentally it'll help him, but I don't
I
think
don't
it's
think
going
they
to.
trying to fucking prove that they about that life. They are clearly about that life with
Yeah,
some of the shit that they do
yeah.
and the actions
That's right.
that they
Yeah.
portray in
If
their
you
music.
if
So
you look at if you look at the story, I mean, you look at the he was already on papers for what, for committing one crime, and then the crime that he committed was like right across the street or like right down the street from the police department. I'm
mhm.
like, dude, like this is like the height of I don't care. That I have no respect. I have no respect for laws. I have no respect for order. But by the same token, with being such a young guy, you never want to give up. You never want to give up on individuals because everybody's worthy of another chance. Um, you just, man, it's rough when you see guys that have an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Have an opportunity to take themselves and their families out, out of a poverty-stricken situation and do something better, and live a different quality of life. It's just upsetting because there are many people that would literally kill for their opportunity,
As
to be signed to a distribution deal, to have a record, to have a record label, to actually have hit music out there on the streets that people are buying and have a real cult, have a real cult following. That you don't have to go out here and prove that, hey, I am really blah blah. No, Rick Ross has made a whole career of being Rick Ross. He then took somebody else's name, the real Ricky Ross, then took somebody else's name and then rapped a whole career. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just, I just, man.
You just gotta look at where they come from, though, man. Like when you see somewhere, you see, somebody like Pooh, where he come from, out of South Memphis. You see a lot of these other dudes that's coming from, certain parts of Alabama, certain parts of Atlanta, and shit like that. I mean, they grow up into that, and they've been into it for their whole life. I'm not giving them an excuse and saying, hey, that's why I understand that you did it, but that is kind of why I understand that they do what they do. They really trying to prove that, hey, I rap about it, but I'm really about it. Is it smart? No, because you fumble in the bag at the end of the day. Because the whole name of the game is, of course, to make music, get out the hood, put your family and yourself in a better position. You know what I mean? It's not to keep doing the same thing that you were doing before. We understand that you did it because, I mean, to get signed by somebody like Gucci Mane, I'm pretty sure you weren't saying that you were doing it, but doing a complete opposite. Just judging Gucci's track record because that motherfucker went to jail itself. So, I mean, it's just like I see where they're coming from and what they're doing and proving who they are. And this generation of rappers are completely different from the generation of rappers that we knew growing up because they would beef, but it really wasn't a lot of depth that came around beef. Like these folks, they be having inner city beef, and 1 week you'll hear a track from one of the motherfuckers, and the next week they own a shirt or they in a pack. So it's crazy to think about it. But I mean, I feel like him being locked up, I feel like he will be smarter. I follow him on Instagram and just judging by some of the posts that he makes, that he's putting out via Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like he's already kind of learned that he kind of fucked his own situation up with being locked up. And I feel like once he come out, I mean, I can't wait to hear music once he come out from I can't wait to hear music once he comes out solely from him, because you know what I'm saying, I want to see if his skills have gotten better, what stories he's able to tell and shit like that from being locked up. We'll see. But I mean, I definitely feel like it's gonna help his legacy once he gets out. I don't think he's gonna stop going.
I mean, one person I think about when I think about Pooh Shiesty is Kodak Blac. And I feel like Kodak Blac is on that path to where he got locked up one more time. He just recently got out of prison. And I feel like now he's finally realizing that he needs to put all that foolishness behind him and really, embrace his career. I feel like Pooh Shiesty is probably going to do the same thing because he realizes that he was on track to be one of the biggest artists, this year. If he
that boy out, he had
had
more numbers than Drake. Drake had a hit song and he put out, I can't remember if it was either Get It Back in Blood or one of them songs that he had put out, but he had more streams than Drake, and that's rare, bro.
Can I ask y'all something else?
Go ahead.
No, because I mean, some you said Reason, and then some you said Chris. When you talk about, he had the opportunity to make, have more streams than Drake and Back in Blood and things of that nature. And you talked about Reason. You talked about him getting himself together. My question is this though: At some point, do you think though that the content of the content of the stuff you rap about, do you think at some point, if you continue to manifest that same energy, at some point that energy is gonna come back around? It's gonna come back around to you where you always rapping about killing and all
I
that kind of
depend.
stuff.
I honestly think it depends. I don't think it depends on the content of your music. I feel like if it is like real life oriented, because some, let's be honest, like a lot of these
Some of
rappers,
these niggas are street
they
niggas.
rapping about fictional stuff. But it is these new breed of artists that are actually rapping about things that they've actually done on tracks. And they're talking about they dead ops. They talking about, this dude was here last week. Now he gone. Put him, I'm smoking on this pack, that pack. You know what I'm saying? They actually doing this stuff that they talking about now. Whereas rappers from our era, they may have sold a little drugs or something, but they really wasn't in the streets. I don't feel like that heavy. So I do feel like, yeah, potentially, if it is true what they're rapping about to an extent, like if it is really, really true and really, really raw, then yes, it's gonna catch up with them because eventually, like some of these dudes, like Chris was talking about, especially these New York rappers, man, like they get knocked off left and right, man. Like, 1 minute they here, and then the next minute they gone. They rapping
I
about
mean,
they ops on the track.
Chicago too, though.
Chicago too. Chicago the same way, And so yes, I do think to an extent it is true, but for some rappers, I don't think it's as true because we have rappers that rap about gunplay and talking about selling drugs, but it's just in reference to like they trying to paint a picture more so than talking about actually what they really did. So I just think
I,
it depends on your life. It ultimately depends on your lifestyle.
I think like it ends up being a thing. This is like even for the generation of rap that we remember, like for a very long time, we've had like this toxic ass view of saying realness and your credibility as a rapper is also attached to how real your lyrics are, how close you are to the streets. Like you can't just rap about selling drugs and doing da 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 da. Like you actually have had to have been about that life at some point in your career, and like that shouldn't make you a more valid or legitimate artist. And some people, I think they do listen to the music and like they want that, they want art to imitate life, and that ends up being an issue like a lot of times. And there's also this thing where I think that a lot of folk, I guess, like when a person like Pooh Shiesty is kind of like, oh, he's an artist, he get out here getting money, and he this, that, and the third. Folk be thinking these rappers really are rich, and they making off money, they making off music. In actuality, they ain't really making that kind of money. They really ain't making that kind of money off music, and they getting how they live on the streets. And it's kind
They're
of like
making
they
most of it off tours, though.
yeah, like well, I mean, there's some folk who the money that they keep on flashing is because they did something crooked on the street. You know what I'm saying? And or they just lying in their music, of course, about the money. But like, I mean, when they get the money, like it's through those kinds of means. You want them to, hopefully redirect their life and focus on music. I hope this brother get the opportunity to do that, and hopefully get some sort of salvation for his sins of sorts, and maybe he'll come back and bounce back like Bobby Shmurda or something. Who knows? But like you can only
Don't be
you
bouncing
on
around like Bobby's murder.
yeah,
Shit.
like dancing and stuff. But like, I mean, I just all thing. I mean, I don't want to see really anybody black in lock up, but I hope he can bounce back.
Most definitely, most definitely. Good talk, good talk, good talk, good talk. On to the next topic. We got your boy Kelvin Joseph of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Rob, this your squad. This your boy. So you was telling me about the story earlier. So you said he got into it with somebody at the club, ended up murdering him or some type of drive-by. I don't know. My boy, listen, before we get into a public service announcement, my nigga, you play football. You make millions of dollars. Why are you trying to kill people? Let's talk about it, guys. What do y'all think?
Now, just in time for the NFL draft, because hopefully the Dallas Cowboys will be drafting a cornerback to take his place. Because if I was the GM, Jerry Jones, I'd have been cutting. I'd have cut him when I first heard about it. Basically, him and a circle of friends, they got into it with a guy at a club. At a couple minutes or moments after their altercation, Kelvin Joseph was in a vehicle. His friends supposedly opened fire on the guy that they had the altercation with in the club. The guy died. Kelvin Joseph knows this happens, holds on to it for a whole month without telling the Cowboys anything. The only reason he does come forward is when the police release video, and he's identified by his jewelry, and people see and identify like, hey, ain't that Kelvin Joseph? Ain't that something? Then he decides, he wants to come forward and cooperate with the authorities. And the day after he cooperates or talks with them as a person of interest, the two individuals were arrested, were arrested in connection with this. So, why did it take you a whole month? You know what I'm saying? To come forward and say anything. You play for the Dallas Cowboys, your owner is Jerry Jones, like one of the most powerful, not even sports figures, but one of the most powerful men in the United States, of America. You tell them, hey, think about like the '90s Cowboys or some of the foolishness that went on back then those days. They pretty much know or got PR that can help or deal with anything. But before I go on, I don't want to talk. Don't want to sweep under the rug that a life, was taken. So rest in peace to that brother. And nobody deserves to be killed. But I do want to make that, I do want to take time out to pay respects to him. But to Joseph, it just goes back to a laundry list of issues that he had coming into the league, because he was dismissed from LSU. He played at LSU. Then he went on to Kentucky, in which Kentucky, he played only a couple games at Kentucky until the coaches at Kentucky told him, like, hey man, you good. You just going to start working out and get ready for the draft. So, people have always said he had talent. But his biggest thing was, once again, as a recurring theme for tonight, off the field issues. He had problems with the company that he kept, the people that he hung out with. And much like Pooh Shiesty, just making bad decisions. He came up in a rough area. You hanging around the wrong people, even though you signed with the Dallas Cowboys, you got multi-million-dollar contract. You would think, hey, I'm finna do whatever I can do to secure this, you know what I'm saying, to keep this contract, to keep food and keep this money, but sometimes common sense ain't too common.
It really ain't that surprising that he didn't come out until like he had to. He probably thought that, oh, there was no witnesses and like I can keep it secret if y'all can, until he had to basically cover his own ass. It's like, I mean, all you folks who got something to lose, don't get messed up and tied up with folk who ain't got nothing to lose, like who going to just mess up your shine and your rise. It's simple as that. It's happened for as long as time has been time. You're going to be out here looking like Aaron Hernandez. That's all I'm trying to say. You better protect your bag.
Protect thy bag. I mean, I really don't have much to say about this guy. I just feel like people are really stupid. And I mean, like, what is the point? What is the point of you being in the car with these knuckleheads during a drive-by and you an NFL player? It literally makes no sense to me, like at all. Other than you just trying to like was stated before, you just trying to stay attached to your entourage, your previous entourage. Like, get you some new friends, man. You in the NFL, get you some NFL friends. Like, ain't none of the Dallas Cowboys trying to hang out with you. Hell, go, get your Russell Wilson on, man. Like,
get some thirst models like Blac Chyna.
What is going on, man? But as far as Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones goes, that's what I'm saying. Become a square, nigga. Like,
exactly.
Stop trying to hang out with these dudes that don't have your best interest at heart. It don't make no sense. Like, you got the potential to, I don't know how good he is. But let's just say he could be one of the best corners in the NFL. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like your potential could be at the ceiling, through the ceiling. So why would you risk that to be in a car with somebody to prove that you gangster, to prove that you down? It just don't make sense, man. Like, and I feel like this goes back to, the people don't want to leave the hood. People, that's what ultimately ends up being a demise. And his demise for him might be him losing his NFL career, not being able to get another job in the NFL, having to go work at Pizza Hut or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Or
Like,
Taco Bell.
it
Taco
seems
Bell is
my way,
always
man.
hiring.
Yeah,
They,
or Taco Bell.
they just
They
brought back the
bring back the
Mexican pizza.
Mexican pizza. Yeah, you know what I'm
Hey,
saying? So, hey,
ole,
you know,
ole.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the nigga might be out there slanging Mexican pizzas instead of out there trying to make interceptions and stop receivers. But anyway, man, it's sad. On to the next.
Well, good talk, boys. Good talk. Good talk. Good talk. On to the next one. On to the next one. Now we talking about my boy, Jake the Snake, the skinny heathen. They call him the Slim Reaper,
Slim
but
Reaper.
in this motherfucking series, he looked like the Slim Sleeper.
The
My
man,
boy is getting knocked out
Not
there.
the
He can't
the
Slim.
man
stand
with the
up.
mange.
They put a meme up with that boy. He got crossed up by Jason Tatum, and he was looking like Bambi at the leg. So I'm just trying to figure out
Not a
with this,
Bambi, cuz.
With the
if
same
he
kind of fur
if
on
exactly.
his head.
So if he gets swept, right? Because he's on the verge of elimination. If he gets swept, what does that do to his legacy? Because we look at since he's left, he's been gone from Golden State for 3 years. Of course, the first year that he left, he was injured. The last year they were a toe away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then this year they can't even make it out of the Eastern Conference first round playoffs. So if he loses this, what does it do to his legacy?
Bro, I
It,
said
go ahead.
this. I said this when it first happened. I said this when it first happened, and nothing has changed my mind. Kevin Durant leaving Oakland for Kyrie was the dumbest move he has ever made in his career. I don't care how many people said, hey, they won your team, you joined a 73 win squad. I don't care. I'm winning these rings. I'm winning these rings. I'm I'm a part of one of the greatest, if not the greatest team ever. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get healthy because the series that they lost really basically because of health. Because he went down, then Clay went down. Because I firmly believe if Clay hadn't got hurt, they would have beat the Raptors. But I would have stayed. I would have stayed in Oakland. Would have stayed in Oakland with Golden State. You, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and no matter. I will say this: no matter how many rings he ends his career with, I will say he left at least two on the table by this whole deal with Brooklyn because Kyrie has turned out to be not reliable. I mean, just
I mean, shit up to two. Kyrie scoring more points than him in this series. So
I mean, but how many games has Kyrie played this year?
I mean, I get the fact that he missed a lot of games, but my thing is this: if you the captain of the ship, right? I'm the captain now, ugly ass nigga. If you the captain of the ship, then you are supposed to be able to lead that team. We didn't seen it countless time with LeBron where he didn't lead a group of men that should not have been in the finals. He's done it twice. So I mean, for us to sit here and you hear it all the time on Stephen A, the greatest player on the planet, the boy got a jumper. He can pull up from 30. Fuck that shit. He is out here getting destroyed. He got the same simple ass crossover. He hasn't fixed it over the last couple years. And the reason why he looks so great is because he was in Golden State and he was surrounded by shooters. He was surrounded by a great team. There's another meme that's out. That boy was so used to being wide open. Now he's coming up the court with the ball in his hand 24/7, and he doesn't have another true threat to pass it to, because outside of Kyrie, who does he have? Bruce Brown? I mean, come on, bro. Who else is he gonna pass it to? Who's gonna hit a
Don't
three?
sleep on Bruce Brown now.
Man, fuck Bruce Brown. That nigga slaw.
on,
Anyway,
Man dropped 25 of them things.
he dropped 25 of them things, and he still ain't won a game after he came out and gave them bulletin board material by saying they're gonna attack the paint because they didn't have Robert Williams. So at the end of the day, that boy is still a mental midget. So shut the fuck up. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to what I was saying, dog. They're like, bruh, they have nobody. They don't have anybody on that team. And we always talking about KD is the greatest player. His legacy is this. He better than LeBron. He can do this, that, and the third. I don't know we comparing apples to oranges when we talking about him and LeBron. But all I'm gonna say is if LeBron was to show up in the series and play the way KD is playing, we wouldn't hear the end of it. So
yeah, that's my biggest thing. I don't even think people should compare KD and LeBron anymore. And this is why I made a tweet about it. You know, people was wondering why Russ was taking all them shots down the stretch when he was in OKC. I seen this the whole time. You know, I don't know what it is about KD, and I get that they're defending him well. You know, they're double team. They're trying to trap him as soon as he gets the ball and turns around. They're not giving him an opportunity to put the ball on the floor. But if he's this great player that people talk about, if he's, you know, the greatest scorer in the NBA history or one of the best scorers we've ever seen in our lifetime, to me, it's like you've got to be able to find a way to score, you know, because people always bring up Kobe. And, you know, one thing about Kobe and MJ, that I don't care what you do with them, they're going to find a way to score the ball, you know, whether it be at the free throw line, whether it be, you know, taking on three people and shooting over them. We seen Kobe shoot on three people. You know, so it's, I don't know. KD just kind of when he can't do anything, it's like he just mentally shrinks, and he runs away from the moment instead of being aggressive. Like look at Cat last night. You know, when he played the Grizzlies, he was aggressive. You know, he came out. Oh, they held me to 8 points. Guess what? I'm finna come out and I'm finna show how dominant I am. You don't see that from KD. He not coming out saying, "Hey, I'm the best player on the floor. You know, give me the rock and get out the way." No, he giving the ball to Kyrie and, "Hey, Kyrie, you do your thing and score because I can't get my shots off." So to me personally, I agree. You know, if he wouldn't have went to Golden State, I feel like people keep saying that he wouldn't have won rings, but I don't feel like Golden State would have won rings either. To me personally, you know, I feel like they both needed each other. That's my personal opinion. I feel like they both needed each other. You know, people can say what they want to say. We'll never know. But I feel like if KD didn't go there, it'd have been a lot tougher for them to win a ring.
But they won one before him though.
But they just lost 3-1 to the Cavs. The Cavs came back from 3 down 3-1. The Cavs knew how to beat them. And that's why they were calling KD to come to that team, because they knew. I feel like they knew they couldn't beat Cleveland.
Even Amon Shumpert said that in a podcast.
I feel like Cleveland had they had their number after that series. They knew how to beat them.
But
you know,
I mean,
we'll never know. We can say if and maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda. It don't really matter. I don't know. Maybe they would have won. You know, but I just feel like they both needed each other. I feel like people throwing KD under the bus. Yes, KD needed them more than Golden State needed KD, but he still allowed them to be the team that they were and being able to blow people out. You know, like the games were so boring that you just didn't even want to watch, you know, me personally. But anyway, I just feel, like I said, when I used to watch OKC, I saw this a lot. KD would just defer to Russ, man. He would just let Russ shoot the ball. He wouldn't command the ball. The best player is, if I'm the best player on the team and it's crunch time and we about to lose a series, you think I'm finna let my number 2 guy take the shot? Hell no. Give me the ball and move out the way, cuz like we gonna lose. If we're gonna lose the game, it's gonna be on my shoulders. It's gonna be on me, not you. It's gonna be on me. And I don't see that from KD. So from now on, I don't want to see nobody talking about he better than LeBron. You know, he's this.
So you don't feel he's clutch?
He's a great. Yeah, they talk about how clutch he is. He had one shot over LeBron, and now he's the clutchest player in the world. I don't want to see that no more, man. Like, he's a great player. I'm not taking nothing away from KD. He's one of the greatest players we'll ever see in our lifetime. But he has flaws, and the flaws are glaring in this series. So that's my opinion.
I think the thing that upsets me, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's just KD. I think this is a symptom and a microcosm of the league in general. I just don't think as many guys and it's across various sports too. I don't think there's just a fire. Like you got certain guys, they say like it's a dog. You got that dog in them where like it's a game. Let's say it's a game where like I'm not shooting well. Like I'm like one of 15. Am I gonna walk around with my head down, or am I still gonna play? Still play my hardest. And I will, even though I hate these comparisons all the time. People always talk about like a Jordan this and Kobe Bryant this and LeBron James. The older I get, the more I don't like the comparison, but there's one thing about Jordan, and it's not. I mean, I'll preface this by saying it's not healthy. It's not healthy,
Yeah.
but it's almost bordering on psychotic. The competition, the competitive. Because they were saying like how he would bet on anything, and that's not healthy. But he was so competitive that he never wanted to lose in anything. And if you have that kind of competitive fire where I don't care, we down by 20 in 5 minutes to go in the game, I'm still finna play because I flash back to Reggie Miller. You remember Reggie Miller in that playoff game where they were like down, they were down by like what 10 or whatever, and he hit two or three threes. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, he was still fighting. He was still scrapping. He was still clawing. And I think that's something LeBron had to learn though, because you remember he left. He left and went down to Miami and won with D Wade. You know what I'm saying? And then once he won with D Wade, I think that was the spark in his career, because I don't think if he hadn't went down to D Wade and worked with D Wade and won those championships in Miami, I don't think that first LeBron would have came back from 3-1 against Golden State.
Definitely not.
I don't think they would
I
have.
mean, shit, we saw that when he first got to Miami and they went to the finals. That
Yeah,
we saw the
'cause
first
they
LeBron.
blew
He
that
shrunk.
against the Dallas Mavericks, because there's no way they should have lost their series to the
No
Dallas.
way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to the Dallas Mavericks. But
So
to my
so I guess. Oh, go ahead.
no, but to my point, you see kids or you see guys now that are I mean, now more than ever, because they had I saw the little clip with T-Mac, Tracy McGrady was saying Kyrie and KD are the by far most skilled, but they're still it's a category, and like we said, the NFL draft is coming up right now. They can go to the combine, they can see how fast you run the 40, they can see how much you bench press, they can see how much you vertical jump, but guess what? They can't measure heart. They can't measure competitiveness. They can't measure. Shout out to Youngblood. They can't measure the will to win.
Will to win, cuz.
They can't measure. They can't measure that, and it's too many guys that just don't have their competitive fire. When things get rough, they tuck tail and run. And I'm not saying it from a standpoint of I want everybody to stay on the team that you were drafted on, and blah blah blah. And Giannis did it the right way, and no, forget that. Because if a team ain't making moves to build around you, then I say, hey, leave and go. But my point is that competitive fire, that will to win, that will to by any means necessary. Hey, my shot ain't falling, but I'm finna go out here on the other end. I'm finna go play some defense. I'm finna lock you up, Jason Tatum. I'm finna go stick him because I see he lighting everybody else up. I'm finna go shut him down. He's not maybe my shot ain't jumping, but hey, I'm 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. He gonna have to shoot over me. I'm finna make Brown. I'm finna make Jaylen Brown go do something because Jason Tatum ain't finna keep busting these defenders up. Go affect the game. Go affect the game some other kind of way. You know what I'm saying? But that's my thing with KD's legacy. He ain't too much of a dog in him. You don't see it on a constant level. You saw it one time that I can remember. You remember when he told and there was a little miniature midget, Patrick Beverly. You know, he was like, I'm KD. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's easy to say. You playing against Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly is a runt. You know what I'm saying? You can shoot over him. But where's that like every night? 82 games. I'm KD. Let them know who, you know what I'm saying? Let them know who I am. And I say this, like you said with Cat. Same thing with Karl Anthony Towns. There's no way that boy shouldn't be out here getting a triple-double every night. I mean, just big and I don't want to say sorry. Just big and
soft.
sorry. Yeah.
Big and soft.
Yeah, there's no way. That boy don't need to be playing like that every night. Every night.
All thing I gotta say is that, like, I mean, as y'all know, a lot of greats have been swept, you know, on the way to in the playoffs. You know, I mean, unless they lose on Monday night, you know what I'm saying, they completely shut out. We really won't know anything about like KD's full legacy until, like, I guess this time next year if they make it to the playoffs again. You know, but it's whatever he got to work on between now. I don't know if he's gonna work on it. How can you really trust a man to work on anything if he hadn't worked on his hairline just yet? That's all I'm trying to say. I mean, you saying he ain't got no dog in him.
I mean,
he got like, I'm just saying. Nah, go ahead. That's all I had
need
to
to
say.
work on ain't really things that you can work on off, you know, in the summertime.
Off
Like
season,
Rob was saying, he just ain't got that. He ain't got no dog in him, man. Like he don't. If he's not able to score, he's not doing anything else to affect the game on the court. And when you brought up Jason Tatum, that was a perfect example. Because you look at how engaged Jason Tatum is on defense. Jason Tatum can miss 6 shots in a row. But guess what? On defense, I'm gonna lock you up. He in his stance, looking mean, like at K. You know, like he want to guard KD every possession if he can. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that from KD, man. Like I don't know if it's because he feels like he's on that level and he doesn't have to try as hard. My question I was gonna propose to you guys is: do you think going to Golden State was a bad decision for him as far as his mentality goes? He had it so easy in Golden State. Do you think that's affecting how he's playing now? Is he because he played in Golden State and he won those championships so easy?
Nah, his
Do you
nappy
think
ass needed that.
that is translating to his game now because he feels like he made it, he had that aha moment, and it was so effortless. Maybe it's affecting the way he plays now. I don't know. That's my opinion. It seemed like he played a lot harder in Golden State. I just don't understand like why.
I mean, I feel like he played harder in Golden State to try and prove haters wrong. But my thing with the whole situation is when you look at him going to Golden State versus LeBron going to Miami, it's really like he took the easy road out. LeBron didn't take the easy road out because the team that he went to in Miami, and Rob, you can attest to this, they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs the year before LeBron came there by the Boston Celtics. So he didn't go to a team that was 73-9 or had just went to back-to-back championships or anything like that. He went to a team where he was still going to have to grind, but he went and learned about grit and grind and how to actually lead and play the game the correct way. KD took the easy road out. I got 2 shooters that are dynamic. I got another point forward over here, and shoot, I can come and fit in perfect because I'm tall and I can shoot the ball from 40 feet away from the basketball goal. So, like, I mean, definitely it was an easy route. You talk about how, you know, he had that little spat with Patrick Beverly. He was like, you know who I am? I'm Kevin Durant. You look at how cocky he was when he got there. He was way more humble when he was in OKC, but when he got to Golden State, he was extremely cocky. And it's like, bruh, you do realize you play for a team that is unbeatable. When you go somewhere else, if you leave and you go somewhere else, you will be exposed. And then look what's happening. Even analysts said that. You can. It's easy to talk tough when you riding the bus with a whole bunch of dudes that have already been in the mud. That Golden State team had been in the mud multiple times. He went in the mud one time and hadn't been back. That same Golden State team, you had them down 3-1 and you lost to them because you were a mental midget. And now look what you're doing. You're a mental midget again. You're not showing up. You needed Golden State. Yes, you needed Golden State to win 2 championships. Great. Was he the MVP on that team? No. And it shows because what happened? He left because his feelings were hurt because Draymond told him that he didn't need him. And clearly he was right. Everybody was like, oh, Draymond was wrong for saying that. Aren't they in the playoffs on the verge of going to the second round? And ain't KD finna get swept, possibly? So my question is, where was Draymond wrong? Yes, Draymond speaks his mind and he says a lot of outlandish things, but we were so quick to bash him when he said what he said. And it is proven time and time again. A lot of these players are soft. It was seen then. Dude is completely soft because why? If you Kevin Durant, why are you getting upset? Because he telling you, shut the fuck up. We don't need you. We won before you. We can win without you. Why would you get upset? I'd be like, okay, show me you can do it. Show me. Because you hadn't did it again. You called my phone and you wanted me to come over here. So show me. I wouldn't pout and leave and go somewhere else. So yes, it was definitely a detriment to him because him going to Golden State made him way more cocky and it made him think he was this player that was up here, but he forgot that he needed Russ. He needed Russ to close some of them games out. He needed that squad at OKC to close some of them games out. They just couldn't get it done, bro. Like, come on, man. So that this whole cocky, and Kevin Durant was like my favorite player before LeBron was even my favorite player. I stopped liking Kevin Durant because of that move going to Golden State because I felt like it was a weak move. I feel like, you don't go somewhere that's already well established. If LeBron goes to the Boston Celtics, we have a problem with it. If Jordan goes to the Boston Celtics, we have a problem with it, right? But we're okay with him going to Golden State. Come on, that's a weak move. We all know that's a weak move. So
I will say this, it'll be a final thing I'll say on it. But to answer your question, I think there's a fundamental difference in the situation because Golden State already had a culture established. They had a winning culture established, and he was leaving. You gotta remember the kind of situation he was leaving from. He was leaving from OKC, where you had Russ, dominating the ball, and it was like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. And he played against that Golden State team where they had a free flowing offense, where like everybody moved the ball, they passed the ball, they got everybody involved, and he fell in love with that way because hey, Steve Kerr, really, it started with Mark Jackson. Shout out to Mark Jackson for laying that foundation, which he doesn't get enough respect for laying a foundation, and also he need to be a head coach. Shout out to Mark Jackson, like he, whatever.
Yes,
but the thing, but the thing about it is he fell in love with that free flowing style of basketball, and they had Steve Kerr, a coach, a real coach. And now think about it, juxtaposition to now, where you dealing with Steve Nash, who this is first time being a head coach, and now you got him trying to wrangle Kyrie, Irving, and Kevin Durant together and try to get them in some kind of offensive, system where it looks basically like they're reverting back to OKC, where your turn, my turn.
that's exactly what it is.
Your turn, your turn, my turn, and everybody doesn't run that same free flowing offense that Golden State has. So I think he kind of, I don't think he had the foresight to realize that, hey, I got something good in Golden State. I kind of liken it sometimes to like boy bands. Like when cats in a boy band and they making good money and everything, it always gonna be one person or two people that start listening to them outside voices like, hey man, you need to go out on your own. You need to go, you need to go be the man or somewhere else. You need to go do this, blah, blah, blah. Bruh, you ain't Justin Timberlake. You know what I'm saying? You might have stayed with NSYNC. You know what I'm saying? You see the Backstreet Boys stayed together because they better together than they are apart. Ain't nobody checking to see no Aaron Carter. They were, but Backstreet Boys, Aaron Carter. Backstreet Boys, I think we want to see Backstreet Boys more than we want to see you go off by yourself. And he's getting a hard lesson. Maybe it's easier when I got some other brothers out here to do some of the heavy lifting. You know, I got Clay over there. I got Steph over there. You know what I'm saying, to help me out, and everybody ain't keying in on me because Kyrie off. You know what I'm saying, Sage in Boston Garden somewhere.
Good talk, good talk, good talk, good talk, good talk. Going on to the last topic we got for the night, fellas. What is the best thing that y'all have seen all week? It's gonna be something we're gonna do every episode. We're gonna try to tell y'all what the best thing is that we've seen all week. So y'all let me know what the best thing it is that y'all seen all week this week.
Since I'm on a kick of getting folks they props, I got to do it this time. Shout out to Ryan Clark. Shout out to Fred Taylor. Shout out to Channing Crowd on the Pivot podcast. Best thing I saw this week was that episode with Shaq when they sat down and talked to Shaq, and it was interesting because certain aspects I'd never heard Shaq, say being that accountable and being that introspective. What he talked about, he said, "I'm the reason." When he was talking about Shawnee in the divorce, he was saying, "I was the reason why we got a divorce. I wasn't doing some of the things that I was supposed to be doing as a man." And to me, seeing that side of Shaq it was impressive. That they were able to pull it out, and the Pivot is doing a great job, and they keep killing it, fellas. So yeah.
The best thing that I've said.
I got.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, you go ahead, bro.
Nah, go ahead.
Well, all right. The best thing that I saw this week was Nobody. It's kind of an old movie. It's kind of like Nobody. It's been streaming. Yeah, like it's actually pretty dope. It's not inspirational like Rob's. Like it's just basically like another John Wick style movie, but it was pretty dope. I just finally caught up with it. It's a pretty dope movie if you want to see a bunch of shoot 'em up action. That's what I got.
The best thing I've seen this week is that damn slap with the dude in the bar. when it was a dude talking all kind of trash. He's some New York dude. He was talking all kind of trash to these dudes in a bar, and he had a homie behind him, and the dude was like, he like looked at the homie and he was like, "This your man?" And dude was like, "Nah, I ain't with him," and he slapped the shit out of him. After that, I ain't trying to be negative, but it was funny. Yes, at the end of the day, man, if you're gonna be talking crap, be the loudest person in the room, make sure you can bag it up. And the best thing I've heard, I really want to highlight, because I've never really been a big Pusha T fan, but his new album is really phenomenal, man. Like, I got to give him his props. He really did this. I'm glad that they kind of deaded the beef with Drake, and now it seems like his music is a lot better to me personally, because it's not so aimed at Drake and the situations. It's more about him and more about his life and things that he's doing. So to me, this album, I think it's called "It's Almost Dry," is phenomenal, man. I recommend everybody check it out. And I've been listening to it. It's been on repeat since Friday, so definitely a dope album.
I definitely have to agree. I thought you was gonna say the best thing you seen was Mike Tyson beating the shit out of that boy on the plane. That's what I thought you was gonna say, because that was definitely hilarious. But nah, man, I think the best thing that I saw, I watched this E60 on was it Joe Patino, guy from Penn State, the coach from Penn State. It's just so crazy going back. I remember when the whole Sandusky stuff happened. Paterno. I remember when the whole Sandusky stuff happened, and I kind of knew, you know what I mean? Because we was just really kind of entering into that. We had already been in the social media era, but we were really entering into it where it was like, if something happens, the party has to react extremely quick. And we saw Penn State react very, very quick. And it's just so crazy to see, man. Like, even though he had nothing to do with it, he was still kind of wrapped up in it because he was kind of sweeping it under the rug. And it's just so crazy, man, to see how after that happened, you could just tell that Penn State was his heart. You know what I mean? Because after he got let go, he died shortly after that. He went to the hospital and he died. And I remember that game when his son coached for him, and they were talking about how they had to take him to the hospital, and he broke down after the game. And I mean, it's just so crazy, but that was definitely the best thing. I'm a documentary guy. I like watching documentaries. The next one I'm gonna watch is the thing about the girls going wild, because I always used to wonder about that when I was a kid, because I was a little teeny bopper and I saw them, flashing censored titties late night when I wasn't supposed to be watching TV. So, Mom, I really hope you don't watch this episode. But if you do, forgive me. I'm grown now. What you can do? What you gonna do? Ground me? Can't do it. Anyways, but yeah, man. Y'all have officially made it to the end of the episode. So I appreciate y'all for watching episode 31. Checking out with your boy Chris, aka Untamed Snatch. You got your boy Al C. You got your boy Rob. You got your boy Reese. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Y'all see that ticker at the bottom. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and keep tuning in. Make sure y'all follow us on all socials. Next time, I say we put our socials up here so they can follow us on our socials, because we definitely post episodes of these of our shows on our socials, as well as on the They Gon' Feel Me on the They Gon' Feel Me socials as well. So y'all be sure to check us out. Tune in as much as y'all possibly can. And as I always say, or as we always say, if you didn't feel us this time, I guarantee you're gonna feel us the next. Should I do it?
Just go and do it, bro.
Get your motherfucking ass off my screen, nigga.
What it do, YouTube family? If you like the show that you just saw, click the video right here so you can see more content from your boys. Now, excuse me while I mess up my liver, and I'll just wait for you to click that link. Still waiting.
And good.
And there we go.